because he lives right across from the beach. Last Friday, just a few days ago, right about 5 o'clock, I think it was, 4 or 5 o'clock, a bunch of apparently teenagers, probably high schoolers, had been down there being kids, and when they came pouring out, they decided to race their cars up Beach Drive and up on Mohawk and down Mohawk. And beyond that, well, I don't know how far they kept it up, but I noticed the people on Mohawk were so upset that they went out on the pavement and in big chalk letters, they wrote "slow down." I'm going to let Vince make the argument on this. Vince would like to express to me that he'd like to put speed bumps in.
I was just.
We have talked about speed bumps for years, and the arguments against speed bumps, and I'll just lay the groundwork for this so you guys can be thinking about it, are police, fire, and rescue hate them, slows them down, and if they can't get as quickly, and it jostles the load if they've got passengers in the vehicle. Our snow removal people don't like them because it destroys their equipment. If there's a big snow and they don't pay attention, you can mess up their plow, and it slows them down. And I guess those are the two big things. School buses, thank you. I knew there was a third one I couldn't remember. School buses don't like them because it's hard on their equipment. They're effective in slowing people down. We've had requests for them many times on Lake Drive, on Lisa's Cove, and other places where people drive fast inappropriately. In this case, so far it's only been one instance, and I'm not sure that spending $5,000–6,000 on speed bumps for a one-time thing is money well spent. I don't know, that's just my opinion. So think about speed bumps, and I will tell you this though, once we put one speed bump up, we're gonna have people in here wanting them everywhere, so.
Well, what you do if you're gonna do it is you build them into your pavement.
Yeah,
Okay?
and
only do them when that section, if they need them, gets paved. There's another alternative that you call a speed bump. There's a thing called a speed table,
yeah,
which is actually
they call
longer.
them sleeping policemen.
Right, they're longer so that they
That's
have
what I was talking about.
less impact on things like fire and rescue.
That's true.
But they are just as effective at
And of course,
controlling the
because
speed.
it's a lot more asphalt, it costs more money. Amy?
Is this part of President's remarks or new business?
No, it's President's remark. I'm just telling you what's happening.
Well,
So I'm not looking for a motion now. We'll move on.
I was hoping for speed bumps on Lake Drive several years ago. There are lots of kids playing there. There are no nearby playgrounds, and they play on Lake Drive. And then people speed around Lake Place. And I've heard all of that we shouldn't do it because it will disrupt this, that, and the other thing. Now, there are a couple of reasons. I think on Lake Drive, it would be humanitarian to do it. However, the board never agreed. But in this particular case with teenagers, high-spirited teenagers leaving the beach, I can't believe that speed bumps are going to make much difference to them. It would
In
sort
my
of
opinion,
heighten the
they
excitement.
might slow down the speed bumps. As soon as there's speed bumps, they would
Right.
take off anyway.
I think it would heighten the excitement, so it's a solution that I don't think fits the problem. I think it's going to fit your more normal, semi-conscious driver who's going down Lake Drive, which looks like a nice big 40-mile-an-hour road and isn't. So I don't think it's a solution for this. At the time of the speed bump motion, and also for Cove Drive, which had a big speeding problem for a while, I don't know if it still does. I looked into it in Montgomery County, and all of the police, fire, and school bus situations cope with speed bumps. It doesn't seem to matter to them. I think it mostly matters to people who don't like driving over speed bumps. But in any event, for this particular case, I think it's the wrong solution.
Okay, let's move on to this, because we're still on President's Yard. But because we're having, it's summer again, and there's always something around the beach. We have, I have authorized the sheriff to be on site for 5 hours a day on Saturday and Sunday.
Every weekend?
In the coming weekends, all the money that I am authorized to spend on my own. So that one weekend. And then there's a weekend between that and then the 4th of July. We normally do it on the 4th of July. I would ask for a motion to be able to do that. We will overrun the budget for that line item, but not in the category in this fiscal year. And if we continue to do it next fiscal year, we would overrun our security budget for the beach that year as well, but not by a significant amount, because next year we budgeted more money. for beach
Exactly,
security.
you're asking for one additional weekend? Or
That's really, and for now, we can talk about it after the 4th of July weekend.
and how much would it be?
It's $400 more.
How much?
It's $400 a weekend,
Okay.
A weekend, Saturday and Sunday?
Could I make a comment?
certainly.
In the past, it's always been a shared cost between the Drum Point Club and PPPOA.
Oh, really?
Yes. The shared
How long
cost.
past was
I mean,
that?
it's big, well,
No.
pardon me?
How long past was that? Because I don't remember that.
Wait, was a shared cost, and I mean, you know, having a beach patrol and having a deputy patrol the beach. It's a
Okay.
shared cost
We certainly can talk to
between
the club.
PPPOA and Drum Point Club.
Okay? Take it with that for me?
There's a precedent.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't remember.
You would have noticed it.
Well, that's okay. It's certainly worth asking.
Yeah.
Don't ask, you don't get.
Good idea. Are you now
There
looking
was
for
one more thing
motion,
else.
or are you going to do it on your own?
Well, wait a minute. Yeah, I would entertain a motion now, thank you.
Well, I have another question then.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. What are the hours that they're there?
5 hours backed up from 8 o'clock is 3 to 8.
From 3 in the afternoon till 8?
And we close it at 8?
Okay.
The idea is to have them there at 8, and I didn't want to spend thousands of dollars, so I backed up 5 hours, and I thought, because that's peak anyway, 3 in the afternoon.
It is? It's peak?
Well, it's busy all day on the weekends, but
Yeah, I would have thought
the
that.
yahoos don't come out
noon
until
to
3.
5 would have been the busier time.
The crazies don't come out.
Well,
You're sleeping until
What?
midnight.
Oh,
There
that's
you
right,
go.
that's right.
You're sleeping in late, I think.
Yeah, okay. So, I'm not clear, right now we have a July 4th, and we had it
Next weekend.
next week.
So it's the weekend after that, which is the 25th and 6th or something.
And then after July 4th, we'll reevaluate?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So.
Well, it's not just reevaluate, it's, right now, the default is we won't have anything unless we reevaluate.
Well, that's, what I'm sorry, that wasn't clear.
Well, I think 3 weekends in a row is, we'll see how effective it is. And, you know, we'll cue the people that are there already. We have a resident there making sure people are there correctly. And the policeman or the sheriff would just be there to
Support.
keep everybody thinking about what they're doing.
You also have to call the duty sergeant to see if they could just put.
Oh, that was the
some
other thing.
Patrols through here.
But let's do this first. Do I have a motion?
I move that we fund that extra weekend.
Second?
So moved.
Okay, so we need to discuss it more, can we just vote? All those in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous. Okay, in addition to that, in years past, we always had the sheriff, we got commitments, especially in the election year, sheriff committed and actually had deputies patrol, especially after hours. Not just the beach, but the causeways, and they'd ride through as part of their normal patrol. It hasn't been happening. So I asked Rhea to call the watch commander, is that what he's called? What the heck is he called? The supervisor of this area. What did he say? Where have you
He
been?
said that he would, he's going to speak to, Tim Buckmaster, who's going to schedule the deputies, but, he seemed open to that. They'll have somebody come through, just drive through and be a presence. Maybe get out of the car, walk around.
Typically what happens is that at the beginning of the watch, you've probably seen it on TV, they all get together in a room and the guy stands up and says, well, this is what's going on, be on the lookout for this or whatever. And that's when he would remind everybody that, if you're down that way, stop by that. That has been effective in the past, and we've caught on camera the sheriff driving through there many times, not once this year.
And so we have to remind them of the sheriff's
Apparently, we have.
promise.
Busy in theory.
So much for the beach then. We have an issue with the standpipe, and turns out it's an issue with all of our standpipe. Standpipe is, we have 3 lakes that are drainage ponds, if you will. One of them's here, the other one is here and here. So it's 3 of them, 1, 2, 3. And there's a big 4-foot round corrugated structure that is an overflow pipe and collects debris. So debris doesn't go down into the hole and clog it up. Well, this one's failed and it's on its side, it's all rusted out. We had
Which one is, which,
anchor.
oh, okay.
I have contacted, it turns out that you just don't go fix it, you gotta go build a cofferdam around it, pump it dry, and rebuild the whole stupid thing.
But Anchor Pond is already really not functioning that well anyway because of the Phragmites, am I wrong?
No, you're wrong.
What?
Phragmites is on the outside
Oh, all right,
of
okay.
at any rate, it needs to be repaired or it'll end up being clogged and we'll have an issue. I've got a guy working on it, but I can't, we keep playing telephone tag, so by
I
next,
got how much?
yeah, I have no clue how much, we'll find out. So we're getting that. And the last thing I have is, I think this might be on, it is not. It'll be part of the action items list. We have money for paving. You know, I mean, the STD has money to be able to do our paving. We have a proposal from Jeff on how to do it, what to do, and an estimate of how much it's gonna cost, $119,000 to pave that mile, roughly a mile of road down on Deer Drive, which is the next step in our project. We have never approved that so that we can send it out for bids. So we need to do it.
Did you ever call the roads committee?
The roads committee approved this.
Oh, was that a year ago?
Yeah, it's been on the books for a long time.
Okay,
It was phase 2 of the 3-step
All right.
process for the roads. Beyond that, we don't have a plan. We only have a plan for road paving for this year and next year.
well, that's sort of a misnomer.
Okay.
We select the most vulnerable area each year, so, and that's the overarching.
Right, and when Jeff did his evaluation, he did an evaluation out, knowing we would only do a mile a year. He did 3 years out. We're in year 2 of that. So I don't think that he's planning on doing another evaluation until we do those 3 that he's already picked out.
Right, so I wouldn't say we don't, all right. It's a misnomer to say we don't have a plan. I mean, we have an interim plan, and the plan is about a year.
You're right, it's an ongoing plan, which is evaluate year to year and
Yes,
pick the next, yeah, you're right. So we can either approve this now or wait till we get to the committee reports.
We're still on your president's remarks.
We are.
why don't we do it under committee report?
Okay, moving on then. I
Because I
agree,
want to raise
because
something.
we
that
shouldn't do everything under Gary's remarks. That's all I have under my remarks. I really think I'm going to talk about. So, next thing on the list is public comment, no public here.
Here is public.
Public isn't, he's part of the crew. So, but if you have something you'd like to say, sir. Not now,
Until he gets-
not now,
I'll
Gary.
wait till the committee.
Was that a 3-syllable or 4-syllable no?
Okay, well, actually, technically, you guys are still public too. Do you have anything you'd like to say? Public comment, going once, going twice. So, okay, next is approval of the May minutes. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second? All right, all those in favor to approve those minutes? All right, done.
I'm abstaining.
You have been busy, Grandma. Okay, office update.
All right. I have been working with a gentleman by the name of Charlie Herbert from SMECO to transition the accounts for the 81 streetlights in Drum Point to our name as of July 1. And he's really actually doing all of it. I just had to make a phone call. And last week I paid a visit to the county land records department to verify that all the corporate documents are on file in the repository, and they are. That would be the covenants, the articles of incorporation, and the 2006 amended bylaws. It's actually a restatement of the articles of incorporation, because we did that, I think, in 2006 as well. Gary and Nancy helped me process the newsletter last week. We mailed nearly 500 copies, and I emailed a little more than 700 copies.
It's getting better, isn't it?
It is getting better. We're doing more email and less by US mail. And just to add on what Gary said about about Drum Point Day and Lisa Stevens stepping forward to help with the games, I had 0 response to the email I sent out to the community, asking for people to volunteer. Surprise. So that's it.
A question on the lights, are you being careful to make sure that private lights don't suddenly now get switched over to Drum Point?
We'll double check it, but
Because I have one of those private lights, that's why I'm...
Gary did and Nancy, I think, drove around and kind of did a audit.
We did an audit and verified every light that was on the list,
Okay.
and we found it was wrong,
You found what?
that it was incorrect. So we fixed it, and SMECO said, oh yeah, that's right.
In our favor, I hope.
Yeah, it
It
was.
was 83
By 2
and now
lights.
it's 81.
Are any of the lights near me private?
I don't think so. There's a bunch of them up on Bay, up by Ralph,
There's one in front of my house.
and there's a couple on your street.
Oh, I don't know.
And there's some over on Deer, I can't remember what, but they're easy to tell. It's really obvious. If you look out here, you see there's one right out here. It's really long, it's like 12 feet out. Those are for public roads. The other ones are only 5 or 6 feet.
And they don't arch over the road.
They
They
face
arch over the lawn or...
Driveway or whatever.
Driveway or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's obvious, it's really obvious.
I'm gonna look this over at my neighborhood because we are rich in lights. I had to get blackout shades as a result, and I have one neighbor who is particularly interested in being able to see everything all the time, so.
SMECO will come out, and I noticed this when I was riding around doing this inventory. A lot of the lights have a whole section of it painted black. SMECO will come out and paint the reflector, or whatever the heck it is, paint it black so it won't shine in your window. I don't know if Pepco or whoever
The
it is.
neighbor rejected and had it put back.
Meh. Okay, round table. Kurt, you have anything for us?
No.
Nothing. Amy?
No?
Nothing. Gary's already had his say.
Nope.
Nothing from Tony? Okay. Committee reports. We're back to the paving. Yeah, I noticed that it talks about Perrin and Rain Road, that we need to affirm. We did a email vote. I had 5 people approve that, actually 6.
What is that? That's
So
that
there
funny
was
drainage thing?
Yeah, $1,600, and it's, there were 2 small stormwater management issues, one on Rain Road and one on Perrin Drive.
They're pretty straightforward. But
Yeah, we
I
talked
looked
about
at the one
it
on
last
Parent, so that's pretty straightforward.
Are you looking for a formal vote in
We have
addition?
to have a formal vote. We did it by email, now we're affirming that. So, actually, we don't need to have a vote because we did it by email, and that is actually
Do
new.
you need a motion to affirm it or something?
We can't just make sure.
I think we could do by, without exception, we will affirm the email vote. Do I have any exception? Then it's affirmed. Okay.
Good.
So the other thing is, of course, the next phase of our paving, which is down on Deer Drive we talked about. It is time for us to get our act together and go out for bids, which is a whole process, takes about a month. We have to have bidders' confidence, and if we start today, we might be able to pave in August. So we need a motion to approve this project to go out for bids.
This is not a motion.
I'm listening.
I know I've been missing for 3 months, but I think we need to go back into our rejuvenation records and find out how far along we are since we started the last cycle of rejuvenation. And remember, the budget is for paving / rejuvenation. And I don't want it to, we really should do it in an orderly way. And my hunch is that next year we really have to start rejuvenating. But I'm not 100% certain that we have a whole year to wait. So I don't know what
Well,
you do, since you want to tie up $119,000, which I think should be used, but.
Following our engineer's recommendation,
Right.
which doesn't include any rejuvenation this year. So,
Yeah, but
what's rejuvenation? No, that was a big difference. So rejuvenation is maybe you should explain it because you're the expert. You wrote a nice letter.
I thought our engineer was the expert.
He is he's the engineer expert for our roads. He is. He's what we pay him.
All right,
He may not be an expert on rejuvenation though.
now he isn't. All right. Years ago, some of our esteemed board members found out about rejuvenation as a way of extending the life of a pavement. And any pavement is subject to a lot of stress. Buckling, traffic, heat, so on and so forth. And so in order to handle the stress, the pavement consists of crushed rock, stone base, a tarry substance, and some lightweight hydrocarbons in the range of gasoline, lightweight. That combination makes something tough and flexible. Over time, and this is weather and time, those lightweight fractions of hydrocarbons are no more. They evaporate, or they become part of they become chemically part of the tar. and the road surface becomes brittle and starts cracking when it's stressed. And then you start getting alligatoring, and the alligatoring leads to potholes.
Alligatoring is
Little
like an
cracks.
yeah, sort of like a patchwork of cracks.
The county doesn't rejuvenate. They like to take off the top layer and start all over again. This has been used by the Navy for over 50 years for landing strips in naval airports. It's used in small communities like ours to extend the life of pavement. And it basically will extend the life. I haven't seen it end in some of these communities forever. But it has to be repeated every 5 years. You can hold your breath and let it go longer, but then you start getting more alligatoring, and it's not a great idea. It's cost effective because you're only paying for that little fraction instead of getting the whole surface repaved.
So liquid that's sprayed on.
So and in fact, if you've lived here a while, you may remember that Beretta Boulevard started turning chalky looking relative to our nice dark roads and started getting a lot of potholes. And then the county, because we had given Beretta Boulevard to the county. And then the county came in, they took off the top layer and repaved it at tremendous expense. Meanwhile, our roads were just, and they had all been paved at the same time originally. So, you know, it was a perfect example. So we do have a policy, it's cost effective, but it does cost something, and we need to look at it. I haven't looked into the records, nor have I asked Rita to look into the records, but I think we really need to get that on the calendar soon. Let's not wait another year before we think about it.
One of the indicators, of course, is the beginning to get cracks.
You don't want to
So
wait
you
till that
can
happens.
look at the road and see if it needs it or not, if it's in dire need. I'm not a big proponent of going with the manufacturer's recommendations, just because they say you should do it. Things can be different. And rejuvenation does not work well on the roads that we're repaving, that have repaved and plan to repave in the next couple of years, because there's no base.
Right,
Rejuvenation ain't gonna do that. So as part of our paving uses a paper underlayment or underlaying of fabric that will strengthen the overall structure of the road, and then, you know, in 5 years or whatever, coming back to rejuvenate might be a good thing. But
I'm
Well,
not
we're gonna catch up,
trying to
yeah.
imply that we should do that on those very vulnerable areas. But we do need to make sure there's some money to start doing it again and cycle through.
well, we haven't planned for it this year, so I don't see it happening this fiscal year.
Paula, I think has.
Well, I just want to clarify what I'm hearing, and you answered part of it, is that the roads we are repaving are not candidates for rejuvenation. But what I hear Amy saying is that we need now to go around and we need to reassess what roads will have to be rejuvenated and come up with a plan in addition to our mile a year plan
Yes.
for the roads.
Or it may eat into the mile a year.
And she's absolutely right,
Okay,
but it's not this fiscal year.
okay.
It's,
Well, it's not
We
this
had
fiscal
not
because
planned
we
for it.
haven't planned and we haven't brought it to the table. But I do want to point out that this is not manufacturer's recommendation. This was developed by the Navy, and I have studied it.